thank you guys for coming. I hope this is helpful. Some of you guys may be further advanced in your AI usage than others, so hopefully this is helpful for you and you're not like, oh my God, I already know this. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully, you know, find something useful that you can take away. So I want to start by saying, I'm Lisa. We can clear that part up. I am formerly of Dell, formerly of a medtech startup, so I've been in really big companies and really, really small, scrappy ones, so I'm acquainted with the slow pace and the fast pace. And like a lot of you, I'm also acquainted, well, hopefully not a lot of you, but I'm betting some of you can relate to the current landscape that we're in, where we find ourselves navigating workforce reduction. I have also experienced that. I'm currently in my 5th round job interview. You know, that's fun. So, you know, it's a good time. 5th round on one, like 2nd or 3rd on another one, so it's a good time. I'm also doing some freelance work on the side where I do a lot of writing on tech topics and things for another company. So AI and machine learning tends to be one of those topics, so I've gotten really nerdy and into it. So that's a little bit about me and what I am doing right now. And because of that, I got really interested in AI because I'm filling all this stuff out and it makes me want to bang my head against the wall. And I was like, there's got to be something to make this less tedious, which is how I figured out how to make my own AI assistant. And when I say make my own, you'll see what I mean. I'm going to show you. I didn't go build something in code because I don't know how to do that. Some of you may know how to do that. I don't. But I know how to make things easy for myself. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So, these are our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors. So, you guys know what I'm talking about. How many of you have ever applied for a job? Thank you. Wonderful. How many of you ever tailored a resume?
Oh, yeah.
Lovely. Written a cover letter. Written a cover letter, then went to apply for the job and they didn't ask for it. Yeah. Did all of that, and then you tailored it, you did all that stuff, and then you went, and it was Workday software. You uploaded all of it, it didn't go in right, then you have to recopy all of it, redo all of it, and you just want to bang your head against the wall. So here's the thing with all of that. You can't control Workday software. You can't control that end of it, but there are certain things you can control. You can control the tailoring part. You can make all of that less tedious for yourself. You're in a landscape right now, whether you have a job or don't have a job, at some point you may want to pivot into a new job. These tools can help you. So even if you're like, I don't really need this right now, you might need it later, okay? So make it easy on yourself. That's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at how to make your own assistant. I will tell you, you will need a ChatGPT Plus account to do this. $20 a month, okay? Worth it. Worth it for the amount of time I have saved. This is going to be the brain of everything. And that is what we're going to get into right now. So, taking you inside the brain of the GPT that I have built. So, this is what it looks like on the inside. You see right here, I'm going to pause right here. This was in the description part. And this is the most important part of the brain that you're going to build in your GPT. Where you find this when you get into ChatGPT is there's a section that's like build your own GPT. And you see that when you have that Plus account. You know, you can title it whatever you want, put a little picture, whatever. This is where you build out your prompt. Your prompt may look different than mine, but this is always the piece that I start with. This is because I'm tailoring mine for product marketing roles. The more specific you can be here, the better it's going to be, and the more shorthand you're going to have when you go to actually apply in your actual, like, GPT later, when this is all built out, okay? So I want mine to really know me. I want to be able to later, when I'm tailoring anything, when I'm reaching out to people, I want it to be talking about all the wonderful strengths and the amazing things I do because, gosh dang it, I am awesome. And I want it to put that out there to everybody, okay? There's a book I highly recommend to people. It's like, something like The Art of Tooting Your Own Horn or whatever. A weird name. It's called Brad, The Art of Tooting Your Own Horn. I think that's what it is. Highly recommend it. But this is all about getting you set up to be able to brag about yourself in all of those outreach things. So if you have leadership assessments and things like that, you want to mention them here. And you may go, okay, but how's it going to know about that? I'm going to show you that in a minute. I specifically tell it, I don't want you to ever mention that we're talking about Clifton strengths, because then I'm just going to look like a big nerd. I don't want it to say, I have these top 5 Clifton strengths when you're reaching out to people, because that's weird. Don't do that. So, going on, it keeps building out. That's that part. Okay, so then as you scroll down, you'll see like a conversation starter, and that's just like your greeting when you go to it. Then this is where you upload those files. So what I have built into my brain is I have my resume. You go ahead and have like your mostly polished resume. People do tailored versions later, but your mostly polished resume that you're pretty happy with, your most current one, you'll upload it. I have my strength finder from Clifton Strengths. If you have like Enneagram, or maybe did Big 5, or anything like that you've done, go ahead and put it in there. I also go into the recommendation section of my LinkedIn, and I go ahead and highlight all of those, and I right click, save as PDF, upload that. Because you get to spend all your time building those relationships and giving those recommendations to just have them sit there and nobody listens in. So when I'm doing outreach, I'm telling people, hey, don't just take my word for it, go look at my recommendations. You want to drive people to go look at that stuff. So put that in there too, because that's also lots of wonderful things people have said about you. Build that into the brain of your GPT. Put all of that in there. And then go ahead and check all those things. You never know what you're going to end up doing later. So check all those boxes. And then this over here is your sandbox. This is where you can test it out before you publish. Now up in that corner it says update. I've already built mine. Later, if you change something in your resume, maybe you take a free minute for a contract role, you can just go in, you don't have to rebuild everything, update your files, click update, you're good. But before you build yours out, you can test it over here. Drop a role in. You'll see what I mean in a minute when I show you some test prompts in my built out version. But you can try it out over here. But don't forget that it's not built out yet. This is just a sandbox. Until you hit publish, it's all just hypothetical. Okay? So make sure you hit that publish button. So you'll hit publish, and then you will have a fully built out GPT. So what does that mean?
Lisa?
What would you be able to do with that?
Excuse me, Lisa?
Yes.
I think you have a question.
So when you publish it, what does that mean? Pull it all together so now you can use it, or you?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so
publish
you're not
and
sending
it's
it
gonna
and
ask you
sharing with
publish
anybody
for
else.
everyone, like everyone that uses ChatGPT, or keep private, or share with some people. Keep it private. Yeah. Keep it private, and it'll be just for you. And like I said, you can go back in and you can make changes to it later. Hopefully, okay.
So under what circumstances would you actually hit publish?
Once you have all your files and stuff uploaded, and once you've tested it out and you're like, okay, I asked it to write me a cover letter and it did it, it looked pretty good, I think it's ready. You'll see what I mean in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I'm about to show you is when it's built out, but literally you could play around with it over here to just see if it's doing the same thing. And if it's doing, like, the scenarios you're about to see, if it can do one over here in the sandbox, then you're good. Okay, so here are some of the things you're going to be able to do with this. You're going to be able to check for fit and tailor resumes and cover letters. And when I say fit and tailor, I'm telling you, you can tell it, act as if you were an ATS and check my resume and give me a score. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. You're going to be able to do personalized cover letters, you're going to optimize your outreach and messages, and interview prep. This is actually really useful for me. Yes?
ATS.
Yes, okay. Let's talk about that real quick. ATS is Applicant Tracking System. There is a lot of hot debate on this. If you are on LinkedIn a lot, you'll see some people going, it's not true that there's a system that looks at your resumes and boots them out. And then other people say, yes, there is. So, you know what? Believe that there is, and go ahead and plan as if there was, and optimize your stuff to be any system that may exist. So that way, if it does exist, you're ready, and if the naysayers are right, well, your stuff is still polished and amazing, so who cares? There you go. So, that's what I do, and I'll walk you through some demos now. So, these are some of the prompts we're going to cover, and here's a demo. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I tailor a resume and cover letter. So, okay, that was interesting. So before I hit play, what you're first gonna see here up at the top is the prompt. And you might look and go, wow, this is all really long. But this is a lot of copy and paste work, okay? So the main thing is, am I a good fit for this role? For tenure in ATS and score my resume. Provide a list of keywords that could improve it based on what you know about my background and experience. Because remember, I built the brain. It already knows all that stuff about me. And then I paste in the full job description. I really recommend you copy and paste the job description rather than giving it a link. I've played with both. Giving it a link, it sometimes gets a little hinky, gets a little weird. Sometimes it can read other websites really well, sometimes it has a little bit of trouble, like if there's a pop-up or any sort of like weird wall that pops up. So save yourself the trouble, copy and paste. So then I go ahead and I want you to watch what all happens. So I did all of that stuff. There's a lot of copy and pasting. That job role was really long. This was one at Expedia, I pasted it. So it gave me a score of 89 out of 100. So generally, I'm the kind of person like, if it's between like 85 and 100, I'm not really gonna optimize it. I'm gonna be like, that's good enough. But what if I really, really want this job? Then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it. So it's gonna give me, if you go back just a little bit, you'll see it gave me some really awesome keywords. It told me, hey, here's some words that you could add. And this would optimize your resume even more. And I look at that, and I know my cover letter, or not my cover letter, my resume already has a lot of stuff, but I see at least two things there: competitive analysis, persona development. I could add both of those, and that would probably bump me up to into the 90s. So, you know, it takes me 2 seconds to redo my resume and add those into my keyword section, because that's a little workaround I did on my resume too. So easy peasy, takes me a couple seconds to do that. So then it's gonna ask me, great, we did that, Lisa, wonderful. You wanna make a cover letter now? I'm like, I sure do, let's do it. So I tell it thank you, because I'm always polite with my GPT. And you're gonna see me work through a couple. The first one I never like. The first one's always really long. I usually find something I don't like in it. Like it talks about this event strategy, and I'm like, that wasn't part of that launch. Like, fix that. I don't like it. So it works through that. And then like, I keep talking to it, and I'm like, okay, that was pretty good, but I've got these other ideas. It's still really long. So we keep going back and forth. I'm like, you know what? Then I have these other ideas, like, there was actually that e-promotion that we did, that paid media idea. Let's put that in. There was some sales enablement things we did. Let's put that in. I like those. And then it almost had it. It almost had it. Then I looked at it. It's still a little warm, I told it. Or warm. It's still a little long, I told it. Let's fix that. So it fixes it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's better, but why did you remove the percent signs? That's weird. So I told it to go back and fix that. Because this is where it's key. This part is so important. Don't be one of those people that uses this to streamline stuff, but then doesn't go back and actually look at what it puts out. This is like if you were in the last section, you still have to be the critical thinker. People are getting roasted on LinkedIn because they're like, people are using AI to apply for jobs. And look at this. And then it's like, dear so-and-so, I am interested in the role at your, and then it's like, company here. Like, they're doing stuff like that. Don't be those people. You still need to read what you're producing. Like, we're all intelligent people. We know this thing. I caught that, and I was like, reading the percent thing. So I'm like, fix that. Once I did that, I was like, this letter's great. I'm good to go. This all took me maybe 2 minutes. So now I've got time to deal with the stupid workday stuff and not want to ram my head into a wall. So, win. Okay? Any questions about that?
When you say keyword section of your resume, it's not like you have an actual keyword section, right?
So I have the whole thing optimized, talking about my qualitative, my quantitative stuff. Then I do have a little mini section that's just like key skills. And that's a little workaround. And I've talked to a few people, I've talked to some people in recruiting, and they're actually like, yeah. It's a nice little cheat code. It's working.
So is the key skills include like the soft skills or like the technical side of it?
A little bit of both. A little bit of a mix of both, because again, mine's really product marketing focused, so I can talk about different things I've done, like key initiatives I've worked on, but then, maybe those key initiatives didn't talk exactly about a bunch of persona development I did, but I can still put persona development in those key skills. 'Cause that's something I've done customer segmentation, but maybe I can't tell you, I can't fit all of it in, because
So when you
I've worked on a lot of product launches.
So when you fit those into the your role description, like do you highlight those in your resume?
I just have them listed out there, but if I have my bullet points and everything where I talk about some key things I did. Talk to me after. I'll tell you a little more.
Okay.
So let's try another thing. So now let's see. I see this post. So if you don't know this little cheat, put in the LinkedIn bar at the top any role you're interested in, and I know then your instinct is click jobs. Don't do that. Click posts, and then click last 24 hours, last week, and you will see anyone that has posted a job just organically. So Cassandra Schwartz, I don't know her, but Cassandra posted, and we have one mutual connection. And this role looks interesting, and I can go, okay, cool, I want to reach out to her. But I want you to look at this prompt I filled out. And you might go, Lisa, why don't you just write her a LinkedIn message? Why are you doing all this? So I say, she's posted this. I pasted in the post. I've also pasted the details of the role below. Even though I've already applied, I want to get on her radar. Craft a message I can send her over LinkedIn that lets her know how I applied because I saw her post. Since she will likely be getting a lot of messages from many other people with similar experience, it's important that you highlight my unique value and the strengths that I would bring to the role. What makes me stand out from the crowd? It will be important to really get to the root of that. Also encourage her to look at my LinkedIn recommendations and emphasize why she should view them. This message should be personal, engaging, and concise. This LinkedIn, no one wants to read a long message. I can use this prompt over and over and over again. I just have to change out who the hiring manager is. I have a Google Doc full of this stuff that I just pull, copy, paste. Okay? Then the rest is just pasting in the messages. I've gotten a lot of interviews off of just doing this. So I do that, and I want you to watch how well it did. Because again, it knows me. It's got my Strength Finder stuff. It's got, those backgrounds and experiences. So I give it all that stuff. It's really long, and I can sit there and noodle on it and go back and forth. I know how to write. Good at those things, but again, I gotta get as much of this stuff out as I can. Gotta maximize. So I give it this, and here's what it comes up with. All right, I'm reading it, it's pretty good, but I don't like that it's got an emoji. I like that. Also, people got a lot of opinions about M dashes right now. Personally, I've been a writer from way back. Before I got my MBA, I got a master's in literature because I was going to be a professor. That was the plan. So there actually is something. You can be a really good writer and use M dashes. But right now people are like, it's AI. So I'm just going back through and I tell them, hey, get rid of it. Remove the M dashes, remove the emojis. Because the rest of the message is actually really good. It talks about how I like to, I have a blended big stage experience in startup scrappiness. Colleagues often highlight my knack for turning complexity into clarity and energizing teams and driving meaningful results. They capture this better than I can in my LinkedIn recommendations, and they're definitely worth a glance. I'd be genuinely excited to have a conversation with you, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's a pretty good message. So I feel good about it. I'm going to send it. Great. All right? So that's that. Now, let's say I get the interview. All right? That brings its own level of stress. So, am I going to get there on time? Or am I going to be on my way there and find out there's a detour? This happened really recently, and I barely made it. Will your screen share work? That happened last week. So many nerves. So, just getting your STAR stories down. How many of you are familiar with STAR framework? Okay. How many of you get in interviews and then you just feel like you start rambling? Anybody? A few people? Okay, this may help you. So, you see her talking into her phone. This is when I don't like to work on the computer with my AI assistant. This is when I like to get it on my phone because I'm going to use voice. Okay? This is actually every time you do something in your AI assistant, you can save it. So this particular role that I'm working in this window started many weeks ago, and right before this particular question you're gonna see it working on, I will have like had a history with it, like all the way back to the recruiter screen where we were working on things together. And we were working on a few questions before this, so that's why you don't see more prompting. But basically, I'm like, hey, I want to prep for this interview. I want you to give me like, I told it what kind of interview it was. I was like, this is an interview with the hiring manager. And so I was like, I want to go through questions one by one, questions you think it would be. I told it it's a senior product marketing manager position, hiring manager, give me the kind of questions you think it would be. And it already had a copy of the role, that sort of thing. So we go through by voice, and you can see how this works. So it asks me the question, I word vomit at it. There's me word vomiting at it. And then as I word vomit, the thing goes, hey, it's a pretty good answer, but we need to structure it a little bit more. So it's like, all right, here's how you're gonna refine your answer a little bit. So I'm like, okay, all right. It's coaching me. It's like, yeah, this is how you can make it work. Cuts it down some. It's telling me it keeps it under 2 minutes, but I'm looking at that and I'm going, does it? I was like, you sure that's 2 minutes? It says, you know what, we can cut it down some more. Let's do that. I said, all right, let's do it. So we do that together. And then I said, you know what? I feel pretty good about that. I said, let's go to the next question. So we go to the next question together. And then it says, hey, here's what we were going to do. And I said, hey, you remember that one thing on Inspiron I worked on from Dell? Would that work here? And it's like, hey, yeah, that would work. Because it knows what I'm talking about. Because we've been working together for so long, and it's learned by stories, it's learned by experiences. So it spits it out to me, because we've been talking about it already. We've been using cover letters for this role, we've been doing all this stuff with it. So it spits it out to me, and I said, okay, actually, here's what really happened. There's a little bit more to it. I'm like, what happened was that I word vomited at it again. And it spits some answers out to me. It says, let's refine this a little bit more. So it's like situation, task, action, result. And I'm like, okay, I see. But I still think we need to refine it some more. So we go back and forth. So what I do is I actually did this with it for maybe 15 to 20 questions. And it just was good practice for me because I'm working on it out loud, I'm finding my answers. And then once I got them all like honed and I felt like they were pretty cleaned up, I then had it run all of them honed and cleaned up, copied and pasted them into a Word doc, and then I carried them over to my boyfriend and I said, okay, ask me questions now, so I could practice them more. So by the time I got to that interview, after there was a detour, and I was sweating and freaking out, I wasn't worried about what I had to answer, because I knew my stuff inside and out. I felt really good about it. I was at ease about what I had to talk about. It was because I had spent so much time on this part. So this made me feel pretty good.
You did have a question. Did you say the voice feature is part of the ChatGPT Plus?
So they have it, but like, I'm the laziest texter in the world. I use voice text for everything. And with this accent, you can imagine, that turns out to be really special sometimes. I've grown up in Texas my whole life, and as a little kid, people would be like, oh my God, you sound so Texan, and I'm very confused. So I'm like, we're all in Texas. I don't get it. So it gets worse as I get tired, so sometimes it comes out strangely. But here's what I do. So I got the ChatGPT right here on my phone, and then it's got its own little speaker, but I use the one down in my keyboard. And I just start talking to it like this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then I hit send.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I love it. So here in a second, I will take some more questions, but I wanted to show you this first. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. I post a lot about AI and product marketing, workplace leadership, and stuff like that. A friend of mine and I are also starting a new collective space called CollabX. And it's a space to connect and experiment and create career momentum, because we're all navigating this interesting space right now. And so if you're interested, we would love to have you scan and join our mailing list. We'll send you information about future events and things like that. And it's just a space where you can learn more and connect with other people that are kind of experiencing some similar things right now and learn some different tools and stuff like that to help each other out. So we'd love to connect with you, but we have, I think, a little bit of time right now, so I can answer some questions if you have questions. Also, if you connect with me on LinkedIn and you'd like me to share like a list of prompts with you, I'm happy to share some prompts. So I do have like 4 or 5 different friends that have built out their own personalized AIs now, and they're all using them. And then I had one friend, I looked over at her computer the other day, she's built out assistants for like 4 or 5 other things now too, so, you'll start thinking of all sorts of different uses to build different assistants for, so it's kind of addictive, just be warned.
For which one?
Anyway, thank you guys. Oh, question?
I just had something to add on. I thought the information you shared was great. And I just wanted to let people know there's a browser extension called Simplify and a startup called Simplify where you could take your resumes after you created different versions of them. And as you go through Workday and like the really monotonous job forms,
Yes.
it'll autofill off of you can select which version you're using and it'll help autofill and speed up the process.
Oh, love
Yeah,
it.
just thought I'd add that on
Oh,
there.
I love
Once you've created it through this process, you can upload it on there and then speed up the
Even
actual
more, even more ways
application.
to simplify.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
called Simplify. I love it.
Simplify, yep.
Thank you. Other questions? I saw one other hand. Maybe it disappeared. Maybe they also call it Simplify.
Right now.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.